Bike that he is now wheeling up here is a Honda XR100R from 2000. So wheel it in right about there and put the kickstand down and we can start kind of taking a look at it. We'll close the door here because the garage is air conditioned. So why don't you sit on the other stool there and we'll sit down here and we'll discuss what we're going to need to look at. So, I picked this up on Saturday while you were at the tennis class with your mom. And I did an initial overview of what parts were missing. Can you tell me what parts you think are missing, Jack?
Well, I immediately noticed right away that the exhaust pipe is missing.
Okay, very good. What else is missing, do you think?
And I see the engine, but I don't really have as much experience as my dad, so I'm looking here, and for my brain, I'm not seeing much else that's missing besides the exhaust pipe, and I'm not really sure what a transmission is, but
Well, this definitely has a transmission because the engine and transmission are a single component on these kinds of bikes. Yep, that's the well. This is the motor part, and then the transmission is behind it here. So it's a common motor transmission unit on this kind of machine. Now you're right that the exhaust is missing. You know what I'm going to ask you to do? We probably need to turn this around the other way because all the stuff we want to look at is actually on the other side. So let's open the garage door and let's get it turned around, and then we'll come back.
nope, this one's yours now.
Sit on it. Does it fit you? Put it upright. Well, don't pull it over. Yeah, it fits in perfectly now. That's perfect. It's like the hermit crab. You know, one moves up a shell and all the other ones move up a shell. Julie, why don't you sit on this one? Hold it up for her so it doesn't fall over. That one falls over quite a bit.
Fell over even when Justin was on it.
Oh, she can flat foot it. Wow! There we go. Everybody moves up a size. So Julie, all you have to do now is learn how to ride your bicycle and be able to stop properly with the brakes. And as soon as you can do that, we can try a lesson. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is pull the rag out of the exhaust port.
Yep.
Throw that away.
That's
Take the tape off the carburetor. Make sure you get all of it. There's quite a lot on there. Take your time. There's no reason to be in a rush. Okay.
They put a lot of tape on this thing.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, the carburetor looks like it's in good
Oh, that
shape.
just keeps all the bugs and crap out of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't really care about the shape of the carburetor. We're probably going to have to pull it off and clean it. So we'll do that one day. Okay, so that's done. Good. Now I want you to open the brown cardboard box first. Here. Here's your Leatherman.
Got this for my birthday.
Twas a good present for sure. Go ahead. Open up your, who gave you that, Jack?
Uncle Lloyd.
Yeah, that was a very good gift from
This
Uncle Lloyd.
pocket knife is dedicated to Uncle Lloyd.
And who carved your name on the side of it?
Uncle Jules, and he did a bad job on the cake.
Uncle Jules had a little bit too much of the sauce that day.
He still did a good job, though.
He still did a really good job, and it's a memorable experience of failure for you.
Yes, I will never let that out of his ears.
Bring it over here, Jack. Put it on the. Yeah, there you go. Okay, there. So, what do you think that is?
I mean, it doesn't look like a fuel tank.
It's not a fuel tank. What's missing on the inlet of the carburetor?
Oh,
Is it supposed to just be open to the world like that?
No.
All right. Well, why don't you try about popping the air box in there and see if it fits. There should also be another piece in the box. Check the box first. There should be another piece in it. Yeah, just put that there.
Ah, you're right.
Is there any bolts in the box? Just check. Is there any bolts or fasteners or anything in there, or is that it? All right, good. Put the rest of the stuff in there. Go put that on the washing machine for recycling, and then you can come back.
Yep, I'm back.
That's a pretty good airbox for sure. Rubber is still reasonably soft. So what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to fish that into the side of the case from probably in there or from behind maybe. No, put it, see if you can snake it in through there. Will it fit? You might have to go from the other side. Try from the other side. Here. Yeah, see if you can kind of like just kind of scooch it in.
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Try and put the spigot on the carburetor right there.
That piece is stuck. I'm trying to fish it. Oh, no. A lot of struggling here.
No, well, that happens.
It's man versus machine.
Yeah. It's not bad. There's this. Oh, that's the fuel line in the way. It's probably not. There we go. There. That fits. So those bolt holes line up. That's very good. That means the casing is correct. That bolt hole lines up. That's very good. And the only problem that I'm having here, though, is that I think that this rubber piece is incorrect because it's not big enough to go over the carburetor spigot. So we might have to find another one of those a little bit later. But for now, we're just going to kind of line it up as best we can, and we'll call it good enough for now. Okay, so that'll be enough to keep stuff out of there. All right, so that's one box set up, and then there's the inner fender right there. That bolts on the back of the box. Do you see where it goes? Other way up, other way up, other way up. Yeah, like that. No, flip it around.
Like this?
It's going to go like that in there.
Oh.
And that keeps the dirt off your shock absorber. Okay? So that's how those two pieces go. So I'll have to look for the right rubber hose for a 100. When I did the parts comparison review, I missed that the nozzle on the 80cc bike was different than the 100. But the airbox was the right one. So whoops on my part. All right, open up the other piece, Jack.
I have a feeling that this is probably going to be
The what?
exhaust pipe.
No, that's an air filter.
Oh. Really?
Careful, don't cut yourself now.
I have never cut myself once in my life.
There's a first time for everything, and we'd like to make sure it's not now.
Eureka! I got it.
All right, well, there's your muffler. So why don't you sit it on the bike and see how it lines up.
I don't know where this goes.
Okay, so take a look here. Let's rotate it up the other way. Rotate it. Okay. That bolt hole right there goes right there, exactly. And this goes up inside the cylinder, like this. So here's the bolt. So start the bolt in the hole. And I'll go ahead and start the nuts on the cylinder flange over here.
I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it will look good. It looks appropriate for the bike. Now we are currently missing the side covers, and the side cover, at least on this side, is somewhat important. So there's a couple things we're going to have to go through and do here, but that's okay. It's not a big deal to run through and do them. Is that a good improvement already?
I mean,
We'll be able to go down to the Honda dealership this weekend, and we'll see if they have an exhaust gasket for this part. Now, before we get too carried away with new bits and pieces, what we are going to need to do is we're definitely going to run through, and we're going to have to do a few things. We have to check and see how much compression the bike has. and we have to check and see if the bike has spark. Okay, now both of those things are pretty easy checks, and we can do them both at exactly the same time. So why don't you get out your 3/8 socket set? Okay, and we'll get that far, and then that will call it today, because we'll know what parts we need to go through and get. That's your 3/8 socket set. So why don't you come here, Jack, come here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pull the cap off the spark plug. This is the spark plug cap, so we want to pull that off. Yeah, just like that. And now you want to find the right socket that fits over top the spark plug. Okay, it's probably going to be 15 millimeter, maybe 16. What do you have there? No, the long sockets, the tube sockets, Jack.
Oh, I got 15.
Yeah, let's try that.
No, it's 16.
Well, try that anyway. Just try the socket first. Just other way. That's tightening. Stop. There you go. So go ahead and pull that out.
Oh, this thing's pretty greasy.
Okay.
I mean, it looks good. Looks in good condition.
Actually, it looks like a new plug, to be honest with you. Let's see if we can get the GoPro to focus in on that. Nothing wrong with that plug for sure. Okay, so now you're going to put that plug up inside the, no, up inside the boot. No, plug it up inside there. Yeah, all the way up inside. We want to push it all the way home. Just push, Jack.
This is a screw on one.
It's actually a little spring clip, but that's fine. That'll work. And then what we want to do is we want to set this in a way that we can watch it. Okay, so we'll rotate it a little bit, just like that. Now, why don't you kick it over?
See if it's any good.
Try again. So I'm not seeing any spark.
Let me try again. Get proper position. No spark?
No spark that I could tell. Go ahead and try again. Yeah, there's nothing there. So we're going to have to check the wiring and see if there's a problem with that. But while we're here, let's go ahead and let's do the next part. I'm going to put my finger over the cylinder hole. Now why don't you go ahead and kick it, and we'll see if it has compression. Oh, it's got lots of compression. That's probably more than enough to run. So we have a spark problem. Alright, well that's actually good news. If there was a compression problem, that would be a much bigger issue. A compression problem would mean that either the rings were stuck, or the bore was bad, really bad, it would have to be really bad for that, or the other thing that can happen is bikes like this are typically owned by teenagers who are typically not the greatest at doing, not you, you're not a teenager yet, teenagers I said, who are typically not the best at doing their maintenance, and the bikes like this typically have a manual chain tensioner. You can actually see the bolt right about here on the back of the cylinder. So what that bolt is that is the cam chain tensioner rod retainer. And the way that these work is they will have a spring-loaded cam chain tensioner on them. The manual will typically tell you exactly which position to put the engine in so that the cam chain is detensioned, and what you do is when the engine's in the right location, you release the nut, the spring will move forward and then take up all of the slack in the cam chain, and then you just tighten it again, and that's it. Your cam chain is tensioned. It's a manual tensioner. And because it's a manual tensioner, you have to do that every once in a while to make sure that everything stays good. Okay? And if you don't do that like you should, what'll happen is the cam chain will wear, and it will wear so badly that the camshaft chain will jump a tooth on the camshaft, and it will get out of time, we call it. They're no longer moving in the right position, at the right time, and it will often bend the valve. And the minute that the valve is bent, it will no longer have compression. So that's really common. That happens on anything. Yeah.
Just use their bike for 2 years
Well,
until it's crashed.
people who don't do their maintenance will do that, and it's most common with teenagers, mostly because they didn't have to buy the bike themselves, and the consequences of not maintaining it don't matter to them because they never had to pay for it. This is really common when parents buy their kids' bikes, like this especially. Especially if the parent is not an expert on mechanical items. So in this case, we got a pretty good deal. The compression is good. That means we don't have to do major engine work. And based on just the finger test and the sound of it from kicking it over, that's going to have more than enough compression to be able to go through and run, in my opinion, without any kind of problem whatsoever. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have to troubleshoot the electronics. We'll do that another day. We're also definitely going to have to do a fuel system refresh on this, which means we're going to pull the carburetor, we're going to clean it thoroughly, and we're also going to clean out the tank. We're going to make sure that everything is good, that we don't have any leaks, and then we'll put it all back together.
Is this tank bigger than the other tank on my other
Oh yeah, definitely. This is quite a bit bigger. And then the last problem we're going to have to resolve is we need a pair of side covers, a fender, and we also are going to need to do something about this part right here because it's not quite the right size. The carburetor opening is larger than the size of the boot, so I did make a mistake in purchasing that. Although the airbox part numbers were identical, I didn't check that the boot was the same part number, and it's very obvious to me that the carburetor on the XR100R, which is basically in the same family as this bike, is a smaller throat entrance. So we'll have to poke around, see if we can find the right rubber component, and we'll go from there.
And other than that, this bike is good.
Yeah, well, it's a good choice for you, Jack. Okay, so I think the first thing that we need to do here today is I want you to pull off the exhaust and the airbox that we fitted yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, those. We're going to pop those off of there. We're also going to pop off the seat and the gas tank because we need to do an electrical evaluation and we need to pop the carburetor off, and it's going to be a lot easier if we strip some parts off. Okay? Oh, did you tighten these?
Yeah.
Why are you pulling that out, Jack? Oh, it's not an actual bolt? Huh, interesting.
Is this tight?
Okay. Put that right there. No, the other way, Jack. Yeah, like that. You can probably just lift up a little bit on it and pull it out by hand, Jack. 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 Other way. That's tightening it. There you go. Okay. Put the bolt right over here. Okay. And then go lay this down right by the rack.
Which rack?
Over there. Right there. Good. Okay. Now you can pop that airbox back out. Might have to fuss with it a little bit, but that's okay.
Can't get it out.
Okay, hold this for a second. I'll help you out. There you go. Okay, put that away. So what you probably want to do is find yourself a 10mm wrench. So let's go ahead and pull the seat off. There should be another bolt on the other side too, so go ahead and pull both of those out. We're going to put all the bolts over here on the bench as we pull them out. Okay? And I suggest that we keep the bolts separated from each other so we know where we're going to put them back together. because we need to pull the seat and the gas tank off so we can look at the electrical system and see if we can. Other way. That's tightening. Jack, that's tightening. Flip the wrench around. Yeah, there you go. Now that's loosening. Pull it all the way out. Help in the future. There you go. Put the seat over in the pile.
The seat looks in perfect shape.
Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so the seat retention clip is missing. We'll have to pick up one of those. There's 2 bolts on the front of the gas tank, here and on the other side too. Go ahead and get those out. Okay, you can pop the gas tank off. Just pull back on it. Yeah, just like that. Comes right off. Okay, that's good. Now we can see what kind of horrible shenanigans are going on in here. So all of that looks very suspicious to me. Is that the new plug?
Yeah.
I told you not to do that. Go put that back in the box. The old plug is fine for testing electrical. Okay, wrong way. Again, just pull it straight out, Jack. Just pull. Pull on it.
You do.
Okay, hold this. Alright. Oh.
See?
Well, now that's very interesting. There we go. Where's your box? Put this back in the box that it came in, okay? That way it's not going to get damaged. You're clumsy and you'll drop it on the ground and bend it, and then I'll have to re-gap it, and I don't want to do either of those things. So just leave it up there in the box and we'll use the old plug until we're all sorted out. Okay, now none of that looks right as far as the electrical system goes. So we're going to have to kind of take a look and see if we can figure out what's going on. Maybe there's something disconnected, or maybe that was never going to work no matter what we did. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of an evaluation here. So put that on there like that. Make sure it's grounded against the casing. So we got to do it like this so it's grounded. Okay, now go ahead and just kick it over by hand. Yeah, I definitely don't see any spark whatsoever coming out of that. So that tells me that something is dead. All right, no problem. We'll start troubleshooting. Now, careful. Wrong screwdriver. Use the other one. Push in hard. Fingers now. You don't have to use the screwdriver like that. There you go.
Hey, Dad.
There should be 3 screws.
I already unscrewed them.
Okay.
What about the screws?
That's not a screw, that's a jet adjustment. So we're not going to deal with that right now. There we go. That's actually not that bad. It's not bad at all. We're going to clean it because it's all full of trash and filth. But honestly, it's not bad. Could be a lot worse. Now what we're gonna do? Wait. Let's see. Probably this way. Okay, we're going to need a punch, a thin punch, and a hammer. Well, that would have been a problem. It's totally stuck. That's the fuel jet. So get me a small flat screwdriver.
Here you go.
Okay, so we're making some pretty good progress here. I'll pop the O-ring out. There we go. I'll pop that right out of there. Good. Now let's take a look at the rest. I have another O-ring right here. I'll pop that out as well. Okay. That's good. It's all coming apart nicely. We'll go ahead and pop this out of here. Now I'm going to do these because if they're tight, they'll end up breaking, and I don't want you breaking them. Okay? There's a spring in there. See if we can fish that out. Oh, look at that below. That's the idle jet. Stuck in there. So that's your choke. We're actually going to leave that there, but we will pull that screw out. Okay, so we're just going to leave that. That spring seems pretty stuck in there for some reason.
Oh.
Partially. There we go.
That looks like a new spring.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just break it?
No. Just pulled it out. They actually don't look that bad. They're not terribly clogged.
It's missing a few parts. I noticed something.
Well, yeah, that's not terrible either. Probably evaporated its fuel tank out. Now we're going to be careful with this part. This is a choke screw. And retention plate. There we go. Okay. And at this point, I don't know if that piece is removable on this carburetor or not. We'll try and get it out. Yep. Give me 1 second. I hear Justin and Julie calling. Sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. And I don't think that one comes out. We're going to leave it alone. That fuel line is pretty much smoked. Let's see if we can break it free. There we go. Oops. Did I get you?
Mm-hmm.
Not badly though, right? Oh. See, now that's a problem. That's a big problem.
What happened?
dirt up in there. Probably from a mud dauber.
What's a mud dauber?
Dirty, dirty little wasp animal. Okay, well, overall, it's not bad. So what we're going to do, go, remember those pieces you pulled off that I told you not to pull off? Mm-hmm. Go grab them. And the threaded parts on the cable too. Yeah, and the part on the cable on this side. Go grab that as well. Okay, come back here. So this part isn't going to get cleaned because it's got soft components on it. This part's not going to get cleaned either. Okay, so we're just going to leave those two alone. This, 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 all this, 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 and we're going to pull this apart. This is actually two pieces. Oop, pick that up.
That's not too bad, right?
It's not good. Actually, I don't know. It feels like it's not in love with that. That might not actually float. Put these.
Is it supposed to float?
And we'll do these as well. And this part here, we're going to go ahead and drop it in there. Should be okay for a little bit. And we'll get those soaking. Okay? We're going to put those in a soak. This is a gallon pail. And this is carburetor cleaner. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to pop the lid off.
We're just going to put everything in it?
That's basically the idea with this. That's exactly what we typically do. Okay? And what it'll do is it'll clean everything off. Now, I've had this pail for a very, very long time. It has worked very, very well for as long as I've owned it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to drop the bigger parts in the bottom like this. And then just hold this like this, would you? Okay? Careful.
I thought it would be
and what we're going to do is put all the little pieces that are going to get lost
on top of it
inside of here, so they don't fall through the bottom and become a pain in the bottom to find later. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. Just drop all this in there, and it's all going to get a nice soak, and it's going to come out spick and span. And we'll pull this out probably tomorrow. And then we'll clean it all up and put it through the ultrasonic cleaner. And this part will basically be done and ready for your use. And then, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the carburetor itself in here. And I don't know, that might not actually end up fitting the way I want it to. Let's do that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of fish this in there. Ah, it'll work out just fine. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now you can go inside.
Alright, so they've gotten to the good old cleaner full of oil, or whatever you call that stuff. I forgot what it was. And I'm gonna wash the parts. Can I wash the parts?
No, it's better you don't.
Why?
The chemical's pretty toxic.
And it isn't toxic to you?
No, because I'm gonna put on my gloves and they fit me. Okay?
So those gloves don't work?
Those gloves are not good enough for the material that's in this container.
Oh.
You have to be really careful with that one. Go grab yourself and myself a set of safety glasses. Come on.
Why?
Because we're gonna need them.
Alright then. Jump the montage. Safety first. Oh, that's looking pretty clean.
Mm-hmm. That's the general idea. This stuff works really well. I have been 100% successful with doing carburetors the way that I've done them here.
You should put them in there.
And that's alright. It'll be good like this. Don't worry. Go get me. Oh, actually, I have a flat screwdriver here, don't I?
Yeah.
Right there. Okay. I made a mistake in that I did not. We're just going to check that there's nothing in here, and then we're going to actually rinse that out because it's filthy. I've been using this for years. It's phenomenal for what it does. Can't recommend it strongly enough. It does a great job of cleaning motorcycle carbs. Basically, I can do a carburetor a day in here. Probably doesn't take anywhere near that long if I really wanted to push it, but I find that it works pretty good like that. So right now I'm just kind of rinsing out all of the crap that's built up in the bottom of this container since we've owned it.
And we'll come back to you guys once we're done cleaning all the parts. Sound good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good. It's pretty straightforward. We just rinse everything out.
Alright, so we finished all the cleaning and they look bright and shiny, unlike the last time we saw them. And then we're gonna put them in the old power washer here that we're gonna have to have cleaned because look at all that stuff. You do not want to wash that kind of condition. So I will come back to you once we're, done cleaning out the icky greenness in that. Alright, so now we got all the parts clean and
brand new set of solution in here.
And now we're just gonna go grab the cap because we do not want to turn this on without the cap. Now where did we put it?
Don't worry too much about that, Jack.
Really?
Just gonna go ahead and set up a little light here.
Jump in the montage. Find the cap. Ta-da! Oh, there it is. Alright, found the cap.
Jack, leave the cap off for right now. Okay.
And we don't
Now
need the
go
cap.
ahead and push the on button, okay? Do you see?
Yeah.
Do you see how? Take a close look with the camera. Don't put it in the light, silly.
not.
There you go. You see how all that stuff is coming off?
Yeah.
That's all the dirt and grime and filthiness that's on the carburetor. Even after going through and cleaning it, it still looks like that. So what we're going to do is run it through the parts washer probably twice, and then we'll go ahead and blow everything off, rinse it all off, and then we'll be ready to go.
Alright, now I put the cap on.
Yep, now you put the cap on.
Hold on.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to put the carburetor together so that we can clear off the top of the parts washing station and start washing and cleaning up parts in preparation for reassembly. So there's a bunch of new parts here for the bike, stuff that was missing, stuff that needs to be replaced. Basically, I did end up buying chain guards brand new to keep things safe and so that the chain can be controlled. But what we really need, and also the chain guide was basically smoked on the bike, had all fallen apart due to age, so we got a new one of those, and all of the bolts to hold it together. So that's going to be for later during the assembly process, but what we really needed was the O-ring kit for it. Jack, hold it up in front of the camera. So
The O-ring kit, it's so good.
And part of the kit is actually this O-ring gasket right here. So we're going to go ahead and pop the old one out. just like that. Just be patient, Jack. Seriously.
I'm just ready to put it in. I'm
I'm
not
aware
gonna put
that
it
you're
in.
ready. It's obvious. Alright, so go ahead and drop that in there. Push it all the way down into the base. Don't use the screwdriver. There's a really good chance you'll cut an O-ring by using a screwdriver. We're just going to kind of use our fingernail to push it all the way down around. It seems like it's going to stay put, so that's really nice. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check our book. We're going to look at the needle clip position.
I don't know.
Pick up the needle. Okay, so let's put the choke off. You see that? You see how it's down in there? Let's move this around a little bit. And then if I pull on this cable, throttle comes up really smooth like. Now if I want to adjust the idle speed, I do that by taking this screw, and what we're going to do is we're going to set the idle a little bit. What I want to do is I want to bring this until it touches. So what I want to have it set up as, okay, so that's not moving down anymore. Oh, that's actually not true. Alright, that's all the way out. So we want to move it in until it just starts to move up. Alright, let's check the idle screw setting in the carburetor manual. Yeah, so we have to basically adjust the idle speed. That'll have to come later. We're going to leave it just like that for now. That's bench adjusted. Okay, so take this assembly. This is basically ready to rock, and go put it on the other bench. We're done with this now. Okay, the plastic bench over there with all our parts. So this part is all complete. We can now put all the tools away.